Hello, everyone, and welcome to Living by the Law, the podcast discussing fictional worlds and how wondrous and ridiculous they are. My name is Matt, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Jude and Guy.
Welcome back to part 2 of our exploration through the outer planes of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, please check that part out before this one. Otherwise, welcome back and enjoy. We tick around one more dot to Acheron, which is the lawful, neutral, evil plane. So neutral evil with a lawful, neutral with a touch of evil. We're heading towards straight lawful. This is a plane of endless conflict, similar to Yisgard, except way, way sadder. Massive iron cubes float through space, hosting eternal battles. As we begin our climb out of the evil planes, Acheron is, similar to Yisgard, iron cubes. Essentially, these are massive cubes about, I don't know what size they are, but they're big enough to essentially be like small continents. Think Europe, but big iron cubes that smash around into each other. Again, it's very similar to Yisgard, as said, but Yisgardians fight for like honor and like the strength of battle. Here we find more traditional mobs in the game, like orcs and goblins and shit. Who
Mobs. It's a creeper.
it's true. Like I'm using the World of Warcraft term for mobs here, just in terms of just like the stuff you kill in between the interesting shit.
Also, did you say this is like Europe? That's what I heard. I kind of drifted out.
I did say Europe.
No, like Europe size.
Oh, okay. I was just thinking this is
like a
Europe.
Europe-sized iron cube.
Europe-sized iron cube. Well, no, like country-sized iron cube. Yeah. France crashes into, I don't know what's next to France, and then...
Acheron is familiar. Acheron is the god of the underworld river and the lake of pain.
There you go.
It's also the name of the river in Hades.
Oh, there you go.
Traditionally means river of woe. Doesn't sound like a vibe, I'll be honest.
Gotcha. This realm is also home to a number of war gods, specifically more the neutral war gods who are more in it for the war than they are for honor. So in our setting, there is a god, Kiri-Jolith, who is the god of honor, except he's not Kiri-Jolith anymore. Long story.
Let's not get into that. Spoilers.
But he would be in Yisgard, whereas something more, I don't know what would be an example of like a mindless war god, but similar to just like...
Ares.
Yeah? I guess that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ares is the god of war. He loves war.
No, but like it depends on their tenets, because like at the end of the day, like there are gods of war who are like still honorable in the eyes of the, pantheon, versus just like I'm here to fight shit for no fucking reason.
That's pretty much Ares. No one really likes him.
Fair enough, honestly. Yisgardians fight for honor and strength. Acheronians fight because they like fighting and because they want to pillage and steal shit and beat up other people.
If you want, do
you also come back to life again?
Yeah. No, you do not.
Oh, okay. So it's not like
you just fucking die.
Okay, cool.
Point of curiosity here, just because why the fuck not? In my setting, these guys get a little lore dump as well. Good for them. The god that I attach to the realm of Acheron, in my version of Acheron at least, is the god of disease and secrecy in my setting, because he represents the force of decay in my setting. So that was the idea of decay.
I need to pull up Gemma's document and find the fucking name of this god.
Starts with M, I believe.
Morgion.
Oh, Morgion. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I can always get like the first letter of what something is, but I can't get the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How useful.
Anyway.
How useful.
I'm sure that the god will be happy being called M.
M God.
M God. I can't remember. Speaking of M God, there's an interesting discussion to be had here about like moral philosophies in terms of like what is seen as like noble fighting versus unnoble fighting, especially because at the end of the day, Yisgard is literally described as just a bunch of people fucking moshing and fighting day after day after day, which if you think about it, kind of takes the honor out of it. They're just doing it for fun at this point.
Yep.
Why would they not end up on Acheron? What makes them different?
Hey guy, that's a different. We're going to start asking different. What's the difference between good and evil at this point?
I leave
guys?
this as an exercise for the listeners. We move on.
Can I ask one question though?
Yo, go for it.
We've seen a lot of like bad shit happening. I'm imagining like a lot of them are like spirits who get stuck here, and they're like eternal tortures, like hell would normally be portrayed as, right? When you say like they die, are people actually dying when they're spirits?
So generally, these planes that I'm describing as the outer planes are generally where spirits will go after they die in the prime material plane. Either that or creatures will have spawned here because they're part of the plane. From there, once you die in the outer planes, either you sometimes, in some of them, revive, a la Yisgard and a couple of other ones. I think some of the devils will respawn in hell just because that's kind of their vibe. But a lot of them will just turn into spirit energy. Some of it goes into the ethereal
twice.
plane. You can die twice, generally, if you believe in something. If not, you end up in limbo. Is that true?
Well, it depends also, because it's one of those things where I think it's a Forgotten Realms thing. Or it's either a Forgotten Realms thing or like a really commonly homebrewed thing where the only way that you can like kill a demon or a devil is by killing them like in their realm. So you can kill them 100 times in the prime material plane or any other plane, but they're going to keep coming back to life in the Nine Hells. But if you go into the Nine Hells and kill them, then they're dead.
It doesn't count.
Yeah.
Doesn't count unless you kill them at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know how to spin that into a joke. And as such, we're moving on to the plane of lawful neutral. This is the plane of just lawful. No good, no evil. Which is one of my favorite planes, being Mechanus. The plane of perfect order and precision, where giant gears rotate endlessly, representing ultimate law.
That's our plane, baby.
It's
Ultimate law.
It's ultimate
where our
law.
lawkeepers go.
Endless
Ultimate law. They call me law because I'm so lawful.
Again, as I said, one of my favorite planes. Mechanus is about just order, everything running in time. As such, it is a giant clockwork machine, with the layers of the plane actually being called modules, and are all part of some massive machine. Clockwork gears, pulleys, strings, buttons, levers all form part of this massive machine, performing some ancient calculation that even the gods fail to understand. Is it performing the calculations that dictate the physics of the universe? Are portents simply glimpses into the grand divination of the advanced calculations of the plane of Mechanus? Who fucking knows? Depends on your DM. That's the bit. That's the whole fucking bit of this episode, is that it all comes back to your DM, and this doesn't actually mean anything.
This means jack shit. No.
It's actually just a timer.
It's actually just a big time. Fucking God walks out. Ah, shit, my eggs are done.
Yeah. This whole plane.
It's like a.
You ever seen that? The whole plane is built to do an egg timer. Yeah. Or a toaster.
I was more thinking like it's just a countdown when like the end of days arrives when the countdown on Mechanus runs out.
No,
That'd be really sick.
Imagine it's just how the gods keep time. They just go, oh, look at the clock. The big clock.
Speaking of keeping time, though, generally most of the life here are modrons, which are clockwork creatures that march endlessly around the plane and sometimes out of it. Each type of modron are separated by rank, with only knowing the modron one layer above it. They begin with monodrones, being commanded by duodrones, being commanded by tridrones, and so on, up to, slowly fewer and fewer of each type until we eventually get to decatons, nonatons, skip a few more, tertians, secundus, who all report to the prime god of the plane, being Primus.
Did you say succundus?
Sucking this nuts.
Sucking these nuts.
Sucking this nut, baby.
Why is
Also,
it
get fucked. It's not named Primus. Fuck off.
Yeah, the god of the plane is Primus. Is it not?
Fair enough.
Am I stupid?
No, I'm saying fuck off because it's a band name, but yeah.
I'm going to very quickly Google it to make sure.
Primus.
My ass. Yeah, Primus. Primus was a manifestation of perfect logic and strict order. It was linked with the plane of Mechanus. Fuck yeah. We don't. It's not NB. It's. I don't know what that. What's the term for it? It's object.
Object. I don't know.
My gender is an object. Call me it. I'm the creature now. The modrons.
Just call me the.
The modrons engage in a tradition every 289 years known as the Great Modron March. To quote the wiki directly, the purpose of the Great Modron March is unclear. Some speculated that it consisted of a periodic reconnaissance mission to ascertain the state of the outer planes and to report them to Primus. However, they never investigated any location, nor did they interact with anyone. They simply marched, looked at each new location they visited, and moved on. Others argue that the march was necessary to calibrate the gears of Mechanus, while another group maintained that the purpose of the march was to instill a sense of order in the outer planes, even if just temporarily. It's a module you can find for some of the older versions of the game. It is a fucking hilarious concept that this perfect order, perfect logic, everything makes sense, everything has its place, and every 289 years we go for a little walk through the outer planes.
Sometimes you gotta go for a little walkies, you know what I mean?
The other great bit about it is it's also mentioned that the Modrons, while they're marching through the places, march a path that isn't like the road. They just like go for a straight line, and it can be straight through the middle of a city. It can be straight through the middle of the village. They can just fucking go for it.
Do they float? Can they go through the air?
That's a good question. I don't know, but I imagine they're not bothered by it because they are clockwork, so they can probably just walk through the ocean. As for the air, generally parts of the march, there are like parts of the march that are guarded by those higher, decatons and nonatons and stuff like that. And so often you'll find like brigades being lorded over by assorted upper ranksmen who would be able to, figure something out. Because while the monodrones are very like doing a single thing, marching to time, as you get higher, they get a little bit more autonomous, although they're all still following that internal order and clockwork.
I do like to imagine it's just to fix a leap second to keep track of it.
Yeah,
every 289 years they got to fix a leap second, and they're doing a loop around the whole thing. Slows the world down just enough to fix the leap second.
I don't know where I saw it. It's not canon, but I think I saw it on the wiki or something. Someone was just like, wouldn't it be great if there was just like one gear that's not connected to anything that's just spinning like as fast as humanly possible? And it's just like, what's that doing there? No one touches it. No one touches it. We don't know. But if anyone interacts with it, it kills them immediately.
Yes, I love it.
I do like it. From what I remember, if you kill one, they just instantly get replaced by one of the others. They get like promoted.
It's dictated as part of the machine that if like something is killed, they get replaced. I'm pretty sure. So it's just one of those things where it's like the machine knows. The machine was like aware of that ahead of time. That Modron was going to be retired by you, as dictated by the Great Order.
They also are. They are fast. Oh, they've got wings, so they can fly. They can fly.
That's true. That's entirely true. I don't think all of them have wings, because there are variations of some of the higher ones that don't have wings, I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
These fuckers are weird. Okay, can I describe them, or are you going to do that?
Go for it. Go for it. Describe the Modron to me.
I mean, early edition ones are just like Mike Wazowski with wings. Like, look at the early edition. They're basically, and the later edition is Mike Wazowski in a robot costume, and his arms are robots, his legs are robots. Yeah. And he's got like mechanical wings. These Mechanus has always been weird to me because everything else is very biological, spiritual. These are such like tech, physical, like machinery constructs, right? Like it's not even like it's a clay construct. It's a machine that clearly has parts, clearly has like bolts and stuff in it. Like it's so weird.
I think like looking at the idea of Planescape and the idea of like each of these are influenced by a concept or a thought, my great like belief about Mechanus is it is an example of like evolution.
Yeah.
It's literally just a giant machine. We do not know how it works. It might have a purpose. It might not. But everything has its place and everything falls in time. The bugs are eaten by the birds, are eaten by the cats, are eaten by the tigers, etc. Everything has its
Everything
place.
happens exactly as it should happen.
And they keep on marching on, you know?
And they keep on marching on. Every 289 years, everything goes to shit.
You know what these guys remind me of? Like, I'm looking at all the couple of them now. They remind me of like, have you ever heard of like the descriptions of like biblically accurate angels?
Yes.
How some of them is like a giant floating wheel, like, and on fire. Some are like multi-headed beasts and stuff like that, like covered in eyes and wings. This is very that.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Very cool.
We move next to Arcadia, the lawful, neutral, influenced good plane. It is a place of harmonious order and peace, where law and good coexist in balance. Arcadia is our first return to a plane that I would actually generally want to visit. Being a neutral, influenced good, but primarily lawful place, it is a plane of common good and order. Everything working together in a great city. Think of it similar to Mechanus, but instead of, clockwork working for some unknown purpose, it is a city where all have their place and all work together. The time cycle of the plane is dictated by a giant orb that floats at the center of the plane above a big mountain, which has night and day and no in between. It is daytime, and then there is a big shadow that comes across, and now it is nighttime.
Daytime.
As expected, there are many dwarves to be found here, as well as very industrious humans.
Why?
There's dwarves, baby! We're in the good plains, the dwarves are back! I told you they show up fucking everywhere.
The dwarves are like an infestation. You can't really you don't know how they appeared, you don't know where they came from, but they kind of always been there. You can't get rid of them once you got them as well.
Exactly. The city streets are perfectly gridded. Rivers flow completely straight, which irritated me when I read it because I care too much about river physics. And the mountainsides are smooth and clean. Purity is eternal. There is no intrusion on harmony. It's very similar. After reading it for a bit, it sounded super nice, but then it kind of eventually gets the vibe of like a bee's nest or an ant's colony where it's like, this is all working together perfectly and everyone who is working together is happy. If you fuck something up, you will be killed.
That's fair.
They care slightly more about order than they do about like being good. As said, it is lawful, neutral, with a small influence toward good. Which basically, from what my reading of the planes, just means you won't immediately die here.
Yeah.
We swing back, finally, to the upper mountains of Mount Celestia. The plane of pure lawful good. This is a plane of ultimate law and goodness, with 7 layers of a mountain forming in increasing purity and perfection. You could kind of equate this to heaven if it had, like, ranks. If, like, when you got to heaven, you got, like, a grade on how good you were.
Fair.
I can see that.
Mount Celestia, as said, is a massive mountain reaching into the heavens, with each layer of the mountain is more massive than the last, with the entrance to each of the next layers at the top of the last, which, again, lovely imagery of ideas, the kind of eternal climb to perfection, the eternal climb to goodness and purity that is throughout most of the world religions. But yes.
Or just like basic Ooga Booga up is good, you know what I mean?
Oh my fucking god, it all comes back to the first episode. I'm gonna... Ooh, we can't escape.
So many of these are reminding me of Keys to the Kingdom. You have no idea.
That's fair. Actually, no, yeah, the Infinite Maze. That's, yeah, holy shit.
Infinite Maze, a land of pure water with only like a couple islands. Mm-hmm. A slave place where you're always
the slave place.
The slave place underground.
Very true. Very true.
So many of these.
Mount Celestia has the 7 layers, which I will now brush through because each of them are actually quite different from the other, but all of them follow that sort of lawful good heaven. First, we have Lunia, the base layer, which, funnily enough, is the base of the mountain, surrounded by the Silver Sea, an ocean of holy water. Here, citadels of white stone dot the mountain's massive base, with Bahamut, the dragon god of justice, possibly having his palace here.
Oh, Bahamut.
That sounds better. I have no idea. Again, pronunciation, listener, feel free to correct me. Feel free to be wrong. Feel free to be right. I have no idea.
Yep.
The dragon god of justice could possibly have his palace here, but it also kind of jumps between the other 3 base layers. It didn't say specifically. This is where it was first mentioned.
Man's got multiple houses. This could be his holiday house.
No, he doesn't have multiple houses. He has one house that moves.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
He's got Leo Vader vibes, nonetheless. The ocean of holy water has sea elves and celestial whales. It also extends out to the plains of Bytopia and Arcadia, which Arcadia is the one that we had at the start. No, hold on. Where is Arcadia? We just did Arcadia. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Look at me losing my track. We climb the base of the mountain to the next layer, Mercuria. Mercuria is filled with golden light and gentle hills. It is also a place that contains a number of holy weapons, being the marshalling grounds for the armies of lawful good. Think angels, celestials, and the like. Mercuria is known for its great tombs, and monuments to noble fighters and paladins who lay rest on the layer, which is an interesting concept to me, that heaven has graves.
Yeah. But I guess it's the angels' graves, question mark?
It is the angels' graves. So my understanding is that anyone who's died on the outer layers, the angels who have gone to fight in battle, can still die, and therefore, if they die, they get a tomb on Mercuria.
Or it's like, if you said like dead paladins come here, or dead clerics come here, if you're a dead person and you're living in a house, is that not a tomb?
Damn. You're kind of right.
It's not a mine, it's a tomb.
Mein Gott.
Yeah. If ghosts live, a haunted house is just a tomb. Think about it.
A haunted... Yeah, I mean, it's a ghost house.
A Gauss, if you will.
I won't. Moving on to Venya, also called the Pearly Heaven Layer, which is... Oh my god, I'm burping, I apologize.
Oh my
Such
goodness.
a direct name, has lush fields of crops and grass and rolling countryside, being home to the realm within the layer. Remember, realms are an area inside a layer of green fields where the halfling pantheon finds its home. It's Hobbit heaven.
That's cute.
That's amazing.
It's like a Garden of Eden.
It is. It's also
Yeah.
a little colder than the first two layers, with occasionally a small layer of snow covering everything. So it's very much gentle, peaceful, think Hobbiton throughout the years. Rolling hills, little fields,
Very cute.
very calm, very peaceful, very cutesy, very demure. Solania is the next layer, is called the Crystal or Electrum Heaven, sporting massive holy monasteries and temples. This is where heaven starts to lose its sort of like cutesy little, we're so kind, we're so gentle. They're like, Palestine, we're building big fucking houses.
This is where the law comes in a little bit. Lawful.
Exactly. Dotted, all these churches as well being dotted with precious gems and metals. Again, D&D does not follow the rules of Christianity. It is moral in terms of like we're doing good according to this vague moral system we're all
Arbitrary
running by.
description. Yeah.
There is
yeah.
no issue with being prideful. You can stick gems all over your goddamn temple. There's not an issue with that.
Yeah.
Martin Luther King has no comeback.
Pride is one of the deadly sins.
Yeah, well,
This is true.
Yeah.
these guys don't give a shit because all this stuff's covered in gems. Throughout, there is, quote, mist, fogs, and strange scents, as well as a sky that glows like burnished silver. Hence why it is called the Electrum Layer. The dwarven deity Moradin makes his home here as well, being chief deity of the dwarves, the force of will embodied, who encourages dwarves to be hardy and dedicated craftspeople. He also encourages them to be nice to people, while also not really being that nice himself. I think it's quoted somewhere that, like, you can impress him by being nice and he will encourage you to be, but the only way to earn his respect is to be really fucking good at something. He respects the grind.
Do as I say, not as I
Yeah.
do. You know what I mean?
Correct. It's also said to be home to Moradin's Soul Forge, which he used to temper the spirit of his followers.
Oh yeah.
Which, lovely dwarven imagery. Again, a lot of stuff in the D&D world that it's just like, that's lovely imagery. Someone did a nice job there writing that one.
Yeah, but what does that really mean? What does that really mean?
Who fucking knows, Matthew? It's called hypothetic. It's called heaven. There's lots of I don't know what to talk about. Anyway,
Called heaven, baby.
it's called heaven, baby. Moving up, we get to Meriton, which is the platinum heaven. We're doing subscription models now. No, I'm joking. It's the it's the color of the sky again. It's just the exact same as the previous one. I don't know why they're different names, nonetheless. Where paladins and clerics find their home. It's said that, quote, the city of Imperia, also known as the City of Tempered Souls, was located on the edge of a cold mountain lake in this layer. I don't know where the mountain lake, I think, is like cut in to the mountain.
I've swam in a mountain lake. They're very common.
Okay.
It's just like a plateau, and there's a lake on the mountain.
And now there's a city next to it. where it is known to host many magical fountains with powerful healing properties, as well as hospitals and expert healers. Every fucking person who died and came to this lair has lay on hands or cure wounds, or else they're a bad cleric.
Well,
Yeah, don't talk to Rust about it. Our current cleric needs to get his shit together.
Don't worry about it.
Not that he's here right now. Poor boy. Oh well. Next, moving up, we get to the final layer that we actually know anything about, called Jovar. Jovar is called as well Gem Heaven. It's covered in gems, being described sometimes as the inside of a giant vault, covered top to wall in gems. There's not, if you're Googling for images, Matt, there's not any of them, and I'm very disappointed. This is home to the Archons, top-level celestial beings. Here is the path to the final layer existing in Yetzirah, which is the city-sized ziggurat in which the Acherons have their home. It is said to be on the top layer, which is made of pure light. Again, we're getting from past, like, heaven being like, oh, this is a nice place to live, to, oh, this is really gaudy, to like, oh, wow, these people are like really dedicated to healing and stuff, to like, this is just celestial energy. This is pure, like, these beings are made of the spirit of lawful good. They are not people who became lawful good.
yeah, it's kind of like what's under the ice in one of the other realms, you know? It's like what's down there, like infinite bad energy in an infinite negative plane. You know?
So yes,
Bad vibes,
at the
bad
very,
vibes.
very
Bad
top
vibes.
on this top layer of the ziggurat, on top of the layer of pure light is a powerful solar named Zerona, who guards the entrance to the final layer of Cronius. Cronius is the final layer, which there is no recorded information on because anyone who goes there does not return. It is hypothesized, possibly, that you are stripped of all neutrality, of all sins, of all anything, including probably a mortal body, meaning that you are turned into pure, neutral good energy, a lawful good energy, and become one with the plane.
You become one with the soup.
You turn into soup.
You ascend. You ascend.
It's the oh god, chrysalis? Is that the right word?
Chrysalis?
Chrysalis. Let me Google this. If I've got this word right, I'm goated. Chrysalis. Chrysalis. It is a chrysalis. A chrysalis is like the thing caterpillars get into before they turn into a butterfly. Where they turn into soup.
Okay.
It is the chrysalis that turns you from a mere mortal human made of flesh into something else that we are unable to yet comprehend because we're not lawful good enough, as every lawful good paladin will tell you.
Well, we all know that the real heaven is a place on earth. You know what I mean?
Ooh, baby, do you know what it's worth?
Yeah, exactly.
Goddamn. Moving away from pure heaven, we instead get on to Bitopia, the next layer along, which is
This is where we keep the buys. Bitopia.
neutral good influenced by lawful. And as I mentioned to get ahead, this is probably going to be the one that I would vote to live in. Bitopia is a twin paradise with two layers that face each other. Bitopia is the heaven of productive work and a job well done. The plane has two layers which look down at each other, linked by massive tall mountains that span the gap. There's a top layer that looks down and a bottom layer that looks up. Which is which? Who fucking cares? And then the mountains on various places meet in the middle. From each side, the other appears to glow with light, saving the need for a sun. Vitamin deficiency abounds. On one side, Dothion is a calm, perfectly balanced place of industry and life with farms, small towns, mills, little mines dotting the landscape, with all people working in an interwoven community. Where Arcadia is a, place like an ant colony of head down keeping this. This is like the, return to trade civilization, the peaceful, we all kind of have a little craft we do, and we come to the town market, and we trade our wares for a little bit of food, and a little bit of water, and maybe if we're lucky, the guy with the hot cocoa stands there, Everyone just
I'm liking
celebrates.
this realm.
It's very much like, So that's the side of Dothion. On the other side, there is Shurok. which is a more toughened side to the idea of hard work, sort of the blisters on the finger, being a much more untamed wilderness. However, thick forests and, crunchy mountains and stuff mean raw materials abound, and often toughened workers can produce massive quantities of goods that are then floated to the other layer using balloons and other gnomish inventions to get them up. As if you raise a hot air balloon, by the time it meets the middle, the gravity will reverse, and then the air inside will cool enough that it will start sinking towards the other layer.
That's really cute.
That's really sick.
There's a really cute picture, which is on the wiki page, which is just a balloon with an up arrow, and then a balloon with a spinny arrow as it's like sideways, and then a balloon with a down arrow as someone's like catching it on the other side. I just think this realm sounds cool as fuck. It just sounds like it's just a place where there's lots of natural materials, and there's a lumberjack guy, and there's a milliner, and not a milliner. Milliners make hats. A miller, I guess. Yeah, Miller. I'm just so used to that being a last name that I'm not used to that being a job. Et cetera, et cetera. It just feels very like warm, nice. However, counterpoint, there are better options. For example, we move next to the lane of neutral good, Elysium.
Our second last, if my calculations are correct.
You are good. Correct. Technically our third last, but we'll get to that in a second.
He's about to spice
The
us.
realm
Elysium.
of ultimate ooze is going to come. I'm ready for it.
I'll get into it. Elysium is a 4-layered plane, which is relatively chill and kind of very just beautiful. It is a pure good plane. The first layer, Amoria, is a pine forest filled with pleasant smells and delicious fruits and berries, as well as gentle, clear rivers, ponds, and lakes. There doesn't appear to be a lot of civilization here. This appears to very much be like I go to heaven and I wander through the woods and I eat berries from the trees and I drink the spring water and I wander. It's elf heaven in my head.
Yeah. Okay.
Being one with nature.
Elysium in mythology is like where all the great heroes go in Greek mythology, I believe. And you have to die 3 times to get to go to Elysium, if I remember correctly. You die. You have to have 3 great lives in your soul.
I imagine that's probably similar here. It seems like a very it's almost fucking impossible to die here. It's also said that all of your needs are catered for. So if you want fruit, there is fruit. If you need a soft place to rest, there will be a bed of moss available to you. Which sounds cool until you're like, hey, I want to do a project. And it's wow, we've got art supplies. And it's I could have used the walk, I could have used my brain power for 2 seconds.
Okay, just think about, I want to walk and your path will open up and then you get to walk.
But then it feels it's oh, I don't fucking need to do this. If I think about it hard enough, stuff will arrive. I don't need to do this walk. This is just to entertain myself. I feel like it would be very monotonous eventually.
Interesting.
Bitopia represents a chance to do work. This is just every need is catered for. It's that's great until you get fucking bored in 1,000 years of just wandering around eating fruit. So
yeah, I get you.
First layer, Amoria, is a pine forest filled with the pleasant scents and such. I imagine this is where many people will be going. The next layer, Eronia, is a more mountainous area with tumbling waterfalls and snow-capped peaks, with the river Oceanus carving a valley through the mountain. Oceanus is the river that opposes the river Styx, not directly, but one goes through the bad layers, one goes through the good layers. For the sake of it, Oceanus is the good river. I just sometimes listen to what I'm saying to myself and I'm this is the good river. I've hosted a podcast for 3 years and I don't know how to form a competent sentence.
It's a great river. Some say it. So many people are saying it.
Some say the best river.
Maybe, possibly the most good.
All right, we're so close. Let's keep going. Final path. The next layer, Eronia, mountainous. I mentioned that. Apologies. Yeah. The third layer is, I think I've misspelled this, but I'm going to go with it. Beleriand is wetlands and marshes. This place serves as a prison for evil creatures, with good aligned gods dumping their various creatures here. It's a lot of swamps and marshes. Matt, this is what I would give you if you were asking for a place, an ooze land. This is kind of keep the not super dangerous enemies close to home.
Ooze land a prison? I don't want to go to prison.
This is where I would keep things the Hydra, the mythological Hydra, not like Hydra the creature in D&D. You know, like the Hydra, you just like stick it in a stone circle somewhere on Berlin because it's close enough that if something goes wrong, we can come from Mount Celestia, run through Bitopia, and just get straight to Elysium. Not that hard. But if something goes, you know, it's not going to cause that much of an issue.
It is interesting to me that you have some like creatures like that on the ultimate positive plane.
Yeah, I found it very interesting as well because it like the summary description is just like
imprisoned there though.
That's true.
Yes,
but it is also interesting.
Ooze doesn't
like,
sound that bad.
It is oozy because the summary says like this is the perfect plane. Everything's good here. All your needs are catered for. Also, random monster layer. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean,
so I suspect that there's probably a
real
reason.
good prison is a prison that's not for punishment, but actually for rehabilitation.
Pleasure.
So maybe they're trying to teach those bad to be good.
No, this is D&D. They're locked away for eternity.
Entirely true.
So
Jude, correct.
that's depressing.
That's not
and
kidder.
fucked up. That's depressing
Jude
and
1,
fucked
Matt
up.
0. Moving on. Finally, at the very base of the layer, we find the ocean of Thalassia, which is dotted with small islands, collectively known as Avalon, completing the set of carefree places that a person might live. If you want a beach, this is the beach.
Yeah.
So if you want the coconut in hand island life as your carefree after existence, you can head to Thalassia.
I kind of want to go here, I think.
This is also where Oceanus starts and ends, technically. It's a loop, as many of these sort of things are. The people who end up here in the afterlife have their needs catered for and generally can't be summoned to other places, which I thought was a very funny thing. It's so chill, you cannot disturb me. My phone is on Do Not Disturb. Don't call me.
I'm on leave. My emails have gotten out of office.
That's actually honestly so good. The amount of fucking annoying D&D parties that would call you up and go, hey, we need a favor, like summon Celestial or summon shit.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. I don't want to be called.
Go into Elysium.
I don't want to do it. Exactly, yeah. So not particularly chaotic, not lawful, mainly just chilling out, having a good time.
Yeah.
So yes, very fine. And then the final of the
Chill,
outer planes.
chill good. It's chill good,
Chill
bro.
good. As we rotate to the final, before we come back to Arborea, which we started the Chaotic Goodlands, we reach our final, which is the Beastlands, being neutral good with a touch of chaotic. It's a wild plain of untamed nature where animals and natural life dominate. This place is a hunter's dream and nightmare. Here, the most extreme version of the wilds can be found, from the thickest forest to the widest plains to the tallest mountains. Survival, animal handling, and perception are all easy here. In game terms, there's an optional rule where you just have advantage when you're on this plane to all three of those skills. No rules, you just got it.
Kind of sick.
Anyone here, unfortunately, who kills an animal native to the plane, though, must succeed on a very easy charisma check or be turned into that animal.
That's sick.
So you
I think
can...
I think there shouldn't be a check. That's just how it works. If you kill the
Well,
animal,
but my only point is the Beastlands is like, it's a hunter's heaven, you know. Someone who, you know, is an Outlands hunter may eventually kill the final beast and stand atop it and then find themselves in the Beastlands hunting forever. And it's like, you kill like your first fox and you turn into a fox because you failed the charisma check. You rolled in that one. It's like,
That ain't pretty funny.
what? The other thing...
Actually, it's called the Beastlands because it's for all the beasts, guys. It's not for the hunters.
You're actually kind of... Hey, listen. If you make an Outlander druid, that could be kind of bad.
Exactly. This is the place for good druids. Any animals that have good vibes. You know, all dogs go to heaven, guy. And
All dogs go to
end up.
Beastlands.
All dogs go to Beastlands.
If you fail a few more checks, though, with that charisma check that turns you into an animal, you stay as that animal. But most creatures with like normal charisma above should be able to make the check just to be meta with it. On the upside, if you do stay an animal, you keep your intelligence and speech and can be turned back with a remove curse spell. So it's not that much of an inconvenience. It's just fucking weird to me that the place is like the hunter's dream, except if you kill anything that's native to here, you immediately turn into an animal, maybe.
Yeah. It's pretty funny.
I suspect that there would probably be something like, if I were to rule it, I would say anyone who died and came here for their heaven are immune to that effect. I suspect that's just an Outlander thing. And then, as we take one more round, we return back to Arborea, the home of the Olympian gods.
Can I ask some, before we move on from Beastlands, I'm so sorry.
Absolutely. Tell me about the Beastlands.
Are there dinosaurs?
You know what? For you, there are. Good. There absolutely are.
Good. That's all I need to know. Thank you, sir.
That's canon. That's canon in our D&D world.
There are dinosaurs now.
No, it's
I'm
not.
putting it in. The Beastlands have got dinosaurs.
Because they are the most wild beasts that
My
ever
old
exist. They are
character is a god. She puts fucking dinosaurs in the Beastlands.
there's
That you have no control over.
No, I have
Dinosaurs
control
and
over her.
Well, what is the ultimate animal but a dinosaur? And they wouldn't exist on the material plane. They exist on the Beastlands. You know?
So true.
I disagree. Matt, you should know yourself. The dinosaur is not the ultimate form of life. It is the crab.
Well, yeah, we
Crabs
know
are
it's
on the
going to be. There's
Beastlands.
obviously a section of the Beastlands full of crabs. We know that.
There are definitely crabs in the Beastlands.
Just the crabs. The crabs killed off the dinosaurs.
No! That's-
Tell us about the final trick you've got, guy.
I have perhaps made a slight omission, boys. As you may have noticed, we've rotated around the outside of the planes, all with influences. But a question may remain. What lies at the center of the outer planes? What is the plane of true neutrality?
Isn't that material
That would
plane?
be no. In fact, it is the Outlands. The Outlands lies at the center of the outer planes because we're working with, I think, technically fifth dimensional space at this point.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's at the center of the outer planes. Here taking the place of true neutral. It is said to have connections to all of the other outer planes through gate towns, each of which mirror the city that they connect to. And at the very center is the Spire, with the city of Sigil, or the city of Doors, at the very top of the mountain. I will read very quickly from the DM's guide about the Sigil, city of Doors. At the center of the Outlands, like the axle of a great wheel, is the Spire, a needle-shaped mountain that rises high into the sky. Above this mountain's narrow peak floats the ring-shaped city of Sigil, its myriad structures built on the ring's inner rim. Creatures standing on one of Sigil's streets can see the city curve up over their head, and, most disconcerting of all, the far side of the city overhead. Called the City of Doors, this bustling planar metropolis holds countless portals to other planes and worlds. Sigil is a trader's paradise. Goods, merchandise, and information comes here from across the planes. The city sustains a brisk trade of information about the planes, and particularly the command words and items required for the operation of portals. Portal keys of all kinds are brought and sold here. So essentially, it's if you want to have an interplanar campaign, you should set it in Sigil, because it's the easiest fucking place to get everywhere.
Yeah, this is fair.
Is this what exists outside the planes?
Not technically. This is kind of the plane of true neutrality. This kind of sits like... Because while we place all of these beautiful things... Listener, I'll pull away the curtain for a moment. While we place these all into, nice little graphs and little pictures and things, reality is much more complicated than that. The actual layout of the planes probably doesn't follow a perfect ring around a center, nor does the astral plane sit in between the planes or the ethereal slightly beyond them. In fact, it may be much more complicated than that, and in fact, imperceivable to the human eye, and therefore, who fucking knows?
So what you're saying is like an atom, which is like a probability cloud that until you measure it, it's everywhere at all at once.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, quantum state collapsing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way. Kind of, yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that for sure. Finally, as a quick note here as well about the outlines, interesting effects of the true neutrality of the plane exists, and a reason why this is called the... Give me a second. Give me 2 seconds. I know the name of this.
The outcomes?
No. There's another name for it. It's another name for it. Why it is also called friendly opposition is another name for the plane. Because as you approach the center of the plane, there is a true neutral effect which takes place, as all variability, here mostly magic, although later more things, cease to work the closer you get to the spire. At about 1,000 miles, or 1,600 kilometers out, higher level spells cease to function. Every 100 miles, or 160 kilometers or so, lower level spells begin to fail until finally, at just 320 kilometers, or 200 miles out from the spire, even from the center, even first level spells stop functioning. This applies to divine magic and the power of the gods as well. Therefore, this ring around the center of the plane becomes a meeting place or a bazaar, where common ground can be used by intelligent species of the outer planes, including the greater deities of differing alignments. If you want to meet with a super evil, super powerful god, you get them to meet at friendly opposition, aka the Outlands.
You know, it still works near the sigil.
What?
A knife. I'm gonna walk out and stab you 12 times. You know what I mean?
Well, hey, listen. Moving in closer to the center at about 100 miles or 160 kilometers, this one really fucked me off. All chemical reactions ceased to function, and even the gods could not get any closer to the center of the plane.
You would die if you tried.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, that's
The idea of all chemical reactions cease. It's like, what exists then? Because
it's pure
That's
nothing. It's like oh, that's so interesting. I actually really
but
love
it's the
that.
base of the mountain, though, which is super interesting.
So the
Because then it
mountain-
raises the question of like, is sigil
made of anything.
exempt?
Yeah, is it possibly made of anything?
Is it real?
That's what we like looking. That's what we're thinking about. I don't know. It's like it's what your mind can see, but you don't really see anything. I don't know. That's really interesting. There's in one of the books that I read. I think it's called The Age of Five. These gods in this world are like can see everything, but the one way to make a god see nothing is create a void. Basically, you remove magic from like an area, and it's really interesting because they can't see that. And then one way, it's a bit of a spoilers for the series, but it's a very good series. Go read it. One way to kill a god is pure magic. Is if you make a god, if you remove a magic from an area and a god is there, they die.
There you go. Damn.
So like, I think that's really interesting to remove the very concept of like existence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So as you get to the center, yeah, it ceases to have anything happen, anything interacting, anything moving. And as such, we shall similarly stop interacting with the outer planes. And I shall ask you boys, as a summary question, what plane are you guys chilling out on? Which plane are you guys? I've got two questions for you. Which one's your house at? Where are you vacationing?
Easy.
Yeah, easy. I feel like it's probably pretty easy. There are some much, much better planes.
I am living in. This is actually a little bit torn, either Bitopia or the Hobbiton Plain of Mount Celestia.
Yep. Very fair, very fair.
And then I'm holidaying in a little bit torn. I think there is a small part of me that thinks, as much as there's a lot of layers of Elysium that sound great for holiday, I think I have to go with holidaying in the Beastlands. Because I think that'd be great.
Absolutely.
It's just an animal paradise. Fuck yeah.
Where are you living, Matt?
So I want to pick one of the bad, but they're so bad. You know what I mean?
They're so bad.
You can't make a case.
I want to
for it,
pick one of the negative realms that like, oh, I could live there a little bit, but like they're so bad. Maybe I could live in one of the hotel rooms in the abyss. Yeah, the shitty hotel rooms in the abyss.
Matt
They're
gets his own layer of
They're
abyss.
just shit. Maybe if you're really cool with like one of the demon lords of hell, or devil lords of hell. If I had to pick purely like right now, I just died and I got to go to one of these places. I think I'm picking. I'm living. Yeah, you're so right. Bitopia does sound really nice. I know it's the boring pick, but Bitopia, the one where you get to chill. I'm particularly picking the chill side.
Elysium?
No, the chill Bitopia, the city.
Okay, yes.
And then I'm hoteling at Elysium. Whenever someone wants to call me, I'm going to Elysium. I'm like, see you guys. I'm going to this. I'm going to the particularly the realm of like the beach realm.
Thalessius?
Yeah, it was Thalassia, yeah.
I wouldn't.
I am 100% living in Bitopia. I'm following you boys. It's just the best.
It does sound really good. I wouldn't mind living in Yizgard, but I'm not a fighter. Like I don't mind
That's the
like
thing.
a bit of ruffle tuffle, but like fighting and killing people every day sounds a bit rough.
Assuming the rules of Yizgard apply to outsiders, I will be visiting Yizgard. If I can get a day pass, I'm taking
like
pot shots with a bow.
It would be fun, because I think it's kind of one of those things. It's like, how many times do you have to die horribly to an axe before you start to not suffer quite the same way that you would from an axe? Do you know what I mean? Like, how many times do you have to take an axe blow to the chest and die and come back to life before you start to subconsciously register the fact that you're not in mortal peril? Do you know what I mean?
But
Yeah,
also like,
I get that.
But also like, how many times do you have to do that to get bored of it? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
I would
but at the same time,
absolutely
a
love-
party in Ysgard would be great a couple
I
of
would
times. Like,
absolutely
come
fucking love a like plot line about like a group of Ysgardians who have just gotten bored of their like enemies not dying and are like venturing off the plane to go murder people. Like, I gotta kill this guy, and they've got to stay dead.
That's actually one of the bonuses of being in one of the negative planes. Most of the celestial planes, you kind of like stay as a good person. Maybe Mount Celestia is like the exception to this because you can ascend to the fucking existence. But like when you're done with the existing in the afterlife, like sometimes maybe you want to just be like, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like I've lived 10,000 years. You know, you're like, oh.
My very final holiday mention is Mechanus, except I have to do it on like a tour, and then I'm going to be so fucking annoying because I'll be like, maybe it's like I'm just going to hypothesize the entire time about what it's about. And the guide's like, we have no idea what any of it's about. I'm like, pretty sure that looks like a timer to me.
No. I'll just see them when they come around the March. I'm happy to see them on the March.
Nonetheless, with that, we draw to the end of the Forgotten Realms and the Great Wheel and spectacularly show off the fact that we are not good at doing 2-part episodes because this was meant to be an hour and it's drawing on 2. I'm so sorry. But I'm also not sorry.
Okay.
That's 3 hours of delicious content for you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We'll hang up the phone.
Holy hell, God. Did you just have a malfunction?
Jude's engine
What was
just
that?
failed to fire. What the fuck?
We'll hang up the hang up the phone.
If you'd like to hang up the phone to this episode but appreciate more of our content, you can get us at Living by the Law on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and anywhere you find your podcast. Obviously, you've already found us. You can
Spotify,
also,
Apple
if the best thing you could do for us possibly is tell your friends, get someone else to listen, share it with people, and give us a review on Spotify or iTunes or wherever you find your podcast. We appreciate everything and every feedback or comments. That's something you can do now. Comment down below on the Spotify thing.
Comment down below. I am going to go crazy.
Or the YouTube this is on. Yeah. So like
This is true.
and you can join our Discord, which should be a link in the description. There was link was broken. Someone messaged me. Thank you who messaged me on Instagram. The link was broken. I'm going to fix it tonight. When this is recorded,
I'm going to bully him online until he fixes it.
we'll fix the link. So by the time this goes up, the links will be fixed.
And if you want to hear more about a fantasy world where shit doesn't make sense, perhaps try out a Warhammer Fantasy episode about the Skaven. We discuss the entire rat world and all of their crazy fucking rules.
That was a weird one.
That was a good one.
That was a weird one, but I love it.
That was
wanna go
rats,
back to
baby.
You want to go back to the rat
the
mummies?
rats. Don't
Haven't
bring
the
me back to the
Skaven
rat.
like already
mummies.
been retconned since we made that
God.
episode?
Maybe. No, don't worry about it. And if rate us, the amount of stars that you rate us on Spotify is the number of planes you get access to.
The number of planes you rate us on Startify? I don't fucking know anymore.
Matt, your turn.
The number you rate us is the number of levels of Mount Celestia you get to go up. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's not bad. I mean, level 5 is kind of mid, to be honest. Level 3 is where it's at.
Do not rate us 3 stars
though.
because of this. Rate us 5 stars.
It goes around. You go like 1, 5, 2, 4, 5, 3. That's or whatever one you want. I don't fucking know, man. And with that, I bid you a good morning.
And then, as we go for the sleepies, we say good afternoon.
Why would you give me a good afternoon? I was going to say goodbye. Fuck!
No, you have to say good night.
No, good night. Goodbye.
Just give
Wow,
up.
we
on it.
suck.
We need to figure out this ending. But also,
No, I think it's great this way.
I can't wait to turn into a fox on the Beastlands plane. I'm going to go there for like one day. I'm going to come back. I'm going to be a chicken. You're going to be like, you fucked it up. I'm going to fucked it up.
You know, you said where you want to go. Where do you think you deserve to go?
Acheron. I'm a mob, baby. I'm a general villager pillaging.
Thank you for listening to Living by the Law. If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave a review, tell your friends, and if you're feeling extra generous, become an official lawkeeper by joining our Patreon today. Follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook at Living by the Law. All links are in the description, and thank you in advance. We have been, and always will be, living by the law. Thank you for your company, and good night.